Hey guys, this is Neek and Rest, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we have another questions nobody asked us. So today we actually have a special guest. Neek is out this week, but I have a good friend of mine, Ashley, filling in for me. And as some of you guys know, Ashley filled in also for the March social work episode. If you haven't heard that one, please go back and listen to it. It's actually one of my favorite episodes, and you're going to enjoy it even if you aren't a social worker. It's literally one of my favorite episodes. So basically, with the questions that nobody asked us, what we typically do is we scour the internet and we look on different advice forums for questions that people are asking. They are not specifically asking us at all. And we come back on here, read the question, and give our general advice on the topics. So with that said, Ashley, start us up with the first question.
Okay. Can I just say first though that that title is hilarious to me just as a listener coming across it like question. You're admitting up front like nobody asked us, but we got opinions.
Yeah.
And I
Set
just love
the
it.
tone. Set the tone. Like, just so you know, I speak my opinion, regardless if you ask for it or not. This is what we're about here.
It's so very like I read the comment section, which is very me. So okay.
It is very you. It is very you.
The first question. I've been dating a woman with kids for a little over a year now. She and her ex were together for 8 or so years and have one daughter together. When we first got involved, she barely spoke to the man, unless it had to do with their child. But more recently, in the past few months, it seems like they are texting each other throughout the day, all day, every day. It's about 65% about their child and the other 35% sharing funny memes and videos, conversing about people they knew in the past, and sharing what's going on in their lives. This is usually from around the time she wakes up to when she goes to bed, randomly spread out through the day. I know that this would not be considered acceptable if they were exes who did have a child together, but is this the sort of contact considered okay because they share a child? I feel like their 7-year-old daughter has an expensive iPhone that he can contact her on directly. And the only conversations my girlfriend and he should be having should be strictly related to their child when necessary. Am I off base? Because if I were to bring it up, I'm going to be told that I'm being controlling. Whether you are a woman or a man in my situation, would you be okay with this? So I am a person who believes in boundaries, power of boundaries, and they save us from situations such as this. So when I think of this, I'm like, of course, like it's okay, I think, to be like polite, cordial, friendly, even with your co-parent, but there should be a line. And it sounds like they're pretty far over it. No, I don't want to say they're pretty far over it. They're sharing memes. I don't want to be too harsh about it. It's like they should be able to be friendly. They should be able to get along. But absolutely, this is doing the most, because if they did not have a child together, to their point, you wouldn't be okay with them kikiing around with their ex. Like it wouldn't be acceptable at all. So the fact that they have a child really doesn't change that too much. It should be pretty much, here's a picture of our kid, a moment that you missed. Here's a, if anything, here's a funny video, not kikiing all day from morning to night. That's my opinion on that one.
I agree with your opinion on that one. I don't. And so me and my child's father have a great relationship, right? And I definitely have shared memes with him over the years, especially about specific niche type things that like we both used to enjoy in the past, or like shows that like nobody else knows except for 10% of the internet because they were also weird little kids, like little things like that. But like there's boundaries. There's boundaries. Like he knows you cannot text me at any hour unless you have my child and an emergency has happened.
Right.
At any point in time, any person I'm dating, for any reason, if they're like, hey, let me see your text message thread between you and your child's father, and they're gonna be bored to tears because it's like, you picking her up on Saturday? Hey, I got a meeting on Thursday. Right. Random meme, maybe once in a blue moon. And other than that, like, y'all parents trying to get her for summer? Nah. Did you send them a gift basket? The big one? And they still said no? Okay. Like that is our text exchange. So
Mhm.
anything else, I feel like no. We have friends that we made as a couple. And just during drop off, hey, Chris got married. Oh, good for Chris. With Trina, no, not with the chick he cheated on Trina with. Okay. Well, y'all have fun at the wedding and go. And that's it. Like, there's no reason we need to have
Because you don't even get out
extended.
the car.
Yeah, this is why you've been on the phone with me while
Right.
I've picked up my daughter and he's in the car. And I've literally, it's a, like, I
Right.
put you on hold to be like, hey, this, that. Okay, cool. Bye. Anything beyond that, I just feel like you're slipping into dangerous territory. Even if nothing between them happens, it's
Yeah.
still setting to me about a boundaries issue
Yeah.
of, oh, okay, I'm allowed to do these things and you're okay with it. What else can I do?
It's an unnecessary slippery slope,
Yeah.
like, we don't even have to be in this situation. Let's just, because yeah, I've heard of some situations. Yeah, no, don't even open that door if you don't have to. I like big, thick, bold boundaries.
Yeah. 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 I like my boundaries like I like my men. So yeah, I
Right. Right.
I have to edit that out. I think. Yeah, going back to big, thick, bold boundaries. I agree. I agree with that though. Like there needs to be, I don't to me also, I have an issue with folks that like there's certain things I just feel like you ground, why do I have to tell you this? Like this is disrespectful. Like
Mhm.
why are you putting me in a position
Mhm.
to lower my eyes, tilt
Yes.
my head to the side, and have this conversation with you?
Right. Right. Also, well, I'm mixed because when the child is like 7, like after, well, but I guess if they were together from who knows how long they were together of that child's life, but
Mhm.
after like a certain time period, I feel like y'all should have figured this out. And that again is me from the outside. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, but okay, if you have like a 1-year-old, a 2-year, like I get it. Y'all are just figuring out how to be co-parents. If if you're breaking up, whatever
Mhm.
the case may be, like there's some gray area, which is why, ladies, I suggest that you not date men during that time period.
Yeah, yeah,
Baby
yeah.
is brand new and under 2. No, thank you. Okay. That
I second that. I second
ain't
that.
what you want. They're trying to figure this thing out. But anyway, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on now. I expect y'all to have figured out how to like co-parent together after like 7, 8 years without too much fussing, without sleeping together, all of
Yeah.
those things that have really gotten those boundaries.
It's nice that they can figure that part out. They're not sleeping together. It's just boundaries in general. Before you come in, it makes for a happier family. Yeah. And I'm just always weary of it because again, I've said this multiple times during the show. I grew up in a house full of boys. I grew up in a house with 7 boys.
Mhm.
I've seen this scenario play out 7 times. Okay. It's never good when there's not boundaries. Okay. I'm not putting my brother's businesses out there, but
Mhm,
it's
mhm,
never good when they
mhm,
don't have strong boundaries. Somebody is going to try to backslide. Now, doesn't mean that the other person will allow them, but why set up that unnecessary drama if you don't have to?
mhm, mhm.
Because one, they have a child together, so they're going to always be in each other's life. So it's not like you can be like, cut them off. No, no. But if you just set up strong boundaries, then
Yeah, yeah. But some people are like, well, because I can't, because they know. No, set them. It's okay. It might create a little bit of discomfort up front, which don't get me on my roll about any of that. But yeah, there may be some discomfort up front, but at the end of the day, you would rather have them. Like boundaries keep us safe.
it really does. It really does. All right, so I'm going to go on with the next question. So it says 27-year-old female, been on and off the dating apps for years. I complained to my mother enough, and she always reassured me that I just haven't found the right one. I've been hearing that since I was 21. I feel like I could have been in a relationship or at least dated if I went for the guys that have pursued me. However, I got tired of the ones I didn't like back approaching me and have decided to use Bumble. I've met up with 2 guys and didn't feel them either. It's been like twice, but like I said, I tried the other apps for years. My life has always been the ones I don't want me back, aren't serious, or the ones that I like don't want me. My mom says that she really loved my dad and she's been with her current boyfriend for years, but I just don't get the appeal of either of them, seeing them as if I don't know them or aren't related to them. She says she didn't settle, but I just don't get how are you not settling if you aren't physically attracted to a person. I do feel like I will genuinely end up alone, rather be alone versus being taken and miserable. Not that this matters, but I don't really have an active sex drive. I don't enjoy masturbating and I haven't had sex in years. I saw someone very briefly 3 years ago, and while he had a decent personality, I wasn't physically attracted to him. That was my closest to a relationship. You are seriously telling me I haven't been able to find anyone since? It's like the universe is telling me I can't do any better. I have never even introduced anyone to my family, and I'm going on 30. Social anxiety is something I deal with, but not that much of a contributing factor. Around a year ago, I took a 6 month break from dating apps. Question mark. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. I feel like when I originally picked this question, I only read the first couple sentences. I was like, oh, got this. And then the more I kept reading as we're on here, I'm like, oh, that's another point. Ooh, okay. I have additional questions. I have a lot of additional questions. So okay, 27-year-old female. One thing I can say is that I feel like I am meeting more and more women who are starting to have this issue. Maybe not for a prolonged whole life type period, but coming to a point of their life in their late 20s, early mid 30s, where they're just like, yeah, I don't like any of them. Like, none of the men are appealing to me whatsoever. And I'm not saying that to get on you guys. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, like, this is a thing. I feel like I've been talking about this all season too. That this is a thing that I just feel like is going on right now, where there's a bunch of us like just not feeling the dating scene right now and opting out completely. And I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. I think you're on the right track when she's saying, like, I'd rather be alone than settle for someone I really don't want to be with and be miserable. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with dating consciously, meaning I'm not going to date unless I find someone that I get excited about and want to date. I think the bigger question here is feeling like something's wrong because everybody else is just dating to date. And you're like, how come I can't do that? I don't think that's necessarily a problem. If you're saying, okay, I'm not finding people, but I don't want to be alone forever. Am I doing this wrong? No, I don't feel like you're doing this wrong. There's nothing wrong with being conscious of the fact, like, I really want to like a person. If I'm going to spend time with them, I have yet to meet that person. And so I'm not dating. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with you for choosing that. Now, in regards to the am I going to be alone forever? Girl, maybe. I don't know. Like, I personally no longer believe in lying to women because I feel like whenever you have a female and they're just like, I don't end up alone, everybody immediately goes, you won't. No, eventually. No, it's fine. It's gonna happen for you. Remember great Aunt Gertrude's best friend's brother, sister's cousin? She found her husband at 78 and they lived happily ever after for the last 2 years of their life. That can happen to you. Like, everybody always wants to tell them that stories. And I want people to be honest and be like, hey, it's a chance that that might not happen. Are we okay with that? What else can we do in the meantime? And if you're like, no, I'm not happy in that, then okay, then okay, let's set up some timelines. Okay. You saying like, no, I don't want to wait till I'm 70. I'd rather settle then wait till I'm 70, then cool. Give yourself a settling date. Once we start getting close to that date, then put down and be like, all right, well, let's see who's divorced now, and then start sorting through them. Go ahead, Ashley.
I don't have. I'm here for being realistic. You're right. Let's stop lying. Some of us may end up, I wouldn't say that we necessarily gonna die alone. I saw circulating that was like, that's more of a threat for men because like
it really is.
Like all these other types of
we build lasting friendships and we have
so,
other supports.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we might die with our friends, you know, worst case scenario. But this question overall though, just like there's a lot going on in here. Lots of things that need to be looked into. So well, I have way more. If I was like for real talking to this person, I would have so many more questions because when we get into my mom and my dad or something, I don't know, But then,
It really feels like she's saying, low key, mom, I feel like you definitely settled. I've seen dad, I've seen stepdad, and I'm like,
right.
no, it definitely feel like you could do better.
But she's also saying like they're unattractive. Like she's not saying they're crap people or they're like mean or, anything, you're lazy. She's just like, she's talking about their attractiveness. So I'm curious about like, what does she mean when she's like, the guys who don't want me back? Because 100%, like I get that by all means you should have someone that you are physically attracted to. Why not? Let's be real. Like, but yeah, I just have more questions for that. And then when we come around to not having a sex drive, which again, totally okay. People have different levels of sex drives and whatnot. And also, if it hasn't been going well, I can see how it would, the
if
idea
you're not meeting people that you're even attracted to, then that literally could change the moment
absolutely. But baby, it can't even masturbating is upsetting. And I'm just like, I don't know. This is definitely a time of self-exploration it needs to be having to figure this out. Kind of to your point of like, I mean, yeah, you could end up alone, but also, I mean, it sounds like there's some things that can be looked at, that can be discussed and worked on before we, doom ourselves to a life of whatever, wait, single people, like, I don't think it's, so that was where I was really more like, otherwise it does kind of sound like just that lag that, that we as women or people as a species kind of either are in or get to at some point. I feel like I toggle between like, is it the collective, like all women right now, or is it just like my age group of women?
I definitely think there's something going on with our age group, but I definitely think there's something going on with the collective as well. That could be like interfering, like there's some cross-pollination going on. Is that the right word? I feel like it's not, but okay. But
maybe some overlap.
That's some overlap. Yeah. But yeah, most of the women I know in this age group are saying the same thing where everybody's just like, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I read an article about some women in Japan that bought a 10-bedroom mansion. They're just going to live together. And like, I'm just trying to get my girlfriends to come around to it. Like, I feel like that's what I keep hearing.
It's also probably some sort of cultural wave as well. Like maybe and this is just me speaking off cuff without having done any research, like a cultural wave in a sense of it's like the repercussions of something, like the leftover of something from before us, of the way that we've been going about things, dating, like this is the backlash
of our dating. Because the way that we have gone about dating, talked about love, promoted it, has been trash. Been trash. And don't get me wrong, because like my parents' generation, they made it sound good, but they were trash at it. So I think that's how we came to my generation. And I was like, I mean, y'all was talking a lot of stuff, but like, you was definitely married since I was 16, and I have 3 half siblings. So I don't know what's going on there. This is
like a reckoning.
Like a
reckoning of like, this is what we've come to. No one wants to interact with anyone.
And together, people of the collective need to come together and heal this.
No, seriously, we really do. I think that's where we are. Because I randomly, I have these thoughts when I get super weird. But yeah, I'm like, the more that women, we like step back, and then men will freaking, come on, go heal. Like think, pray, do something. I don't know, but evolve so that we can come together. Because people have always been like, well, it's y'all fault because y'all allow this and y'all allow that. One, I'm tired of us being blamed for every damn thing. I'm over it. I am on this warpath. Like I'm sending men to talk back to other men. Don't come argue with me. Talk to the men. Well, y'all should.
Do you have men to recommend for them to talk to? Because I just feel like the men that I know are just going to worsen the problem. Like I actually need y'all to stop being friends because y'all are making it worse.
Not my responsibility. I'm not educating how to create safe spaces. Because especially now, I'm here for their feelings. Yes, honey, empathy and all that whatnot. But don't come up here complaining, we never have a safe space for our feelings. Create one. You don't create safe space for nobody else. We set up here and make spaces for us. Women do it all the time. So we can just talk. I can't help that you clown your homeboy, whenever he tries to have a vulnerable moment, and now no one can share their feelings. Like that's not women's fault. That's y'all fault. Don't even talk to each other. I don't know how I got on this path. I don't,
I
but
mean, when you talk,
oh,
this is the
dating.
path we tend to
This
get
is why.
on. This is where this is just where you tend to go.
But like dog on it. No. Yeah, dating. Yeah, I think yeah. Women are just I am a part of the women who are just kind of over it and are just like, I
Yeah.
don't know, man, y'all need to heal or grow or I don't know, but please do it
I
away
would
from
like
me.
y'all to do it without me. Come back when it's finished. I did mine alone. I feel like you should be able to do yours alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been here in my little cocoon, in my little feminine bubble, just having me a good time growing and evolving and changing. And also to that point though, I have higher expectations. I think I've always had, but I get to have higher ones, I feel like, because the more like I've spent all this time, focusing on me, trying to grow me, trying to change me. I'm in my 30s, blah, 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 blah. What do I look like wanting to partner with someone who hasn't embarked upon that journey or hasn't even
Yeah.
thought about it or isn't trying, that's
Yeah.
not fair. To me, that's ridiculous,
My my 20s was spent trying to convince men to be better. And I don't want to spend my 30s convincing men to be better. I would like to just meet someone that was like, hey, I discovered I was trash on my own and was
Yeah.
like, I got money for therapy now. And then I went and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. I mean, it's the bare minimum, but good for you.
Yes.
You're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we can get drinks. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But get back to the question, like, no, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to settle because there's a lot of like hidden questions in this. There's nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
you for not wanting to settle. Like Ashley said, I am kind of wondering though, is you're settling just based on looks? Because that's the only thing you really talked about in this. And if so, look, that's fine. But if looks is a big thing, we might want to determine how big of a thing we're going to make it. Because yes, you should be attractive to your partner. I'm big on that. I think you should want to look at your partner and just like, you. But I don't think it should be the biggest thing. Definitely not something to bypass, but let's work out how important that actually really is to us. And then lastly, the whole sex drive thing is back to you questions. Is that recent or is that how it's always been? Now, if that's how it's always been, that's not an issue either because there are plenty of males out here with low sex drives as well. I know the media likes to act like they don't have it. They definitely do. You're about to hit your 30s, girl. This is where they live. It's a thing. But in regards to like if this is something new that's happening for you, that literally just could be because you're in a slump. It's very natural for a lot of humans in general to be out here not finding what they like and just get uninterested, even in self pleasure, getting uninterested in it because it's like, how many times I got to do a fantasy? Like, how many times do I have to make believe before I get sick and tired of it as well? If the question is, if there is there really a problem? No. No. Solution, girl, we don't know. I don't know.
It's okay, but it's gonna be all right.
TikTok told me that the divine masculines got to heal themselves and then some stuff. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how to TikTok yet, but that's what they told me. And so I feel like that's the answer. They got to heal themselves and we need to just live our best lives while they're doing that. If you haven't been healing, then you go heal yourself too.
Yes.
Everybody heal. That's the solution. That's the only answer.
Everybody just step away. Heal yourself. Okay. Before we can come together, we must heal. I agree with that.
Chakras, crystals. There you go. Jesus and prayer. All righty. Ashley, you got the next question?
Yes. Okay. I have a friend who I used to see about every other weekend. We are both close to 40 and he's married with 2 kids. And he and the wife are basically roommates who don't do anything together. It used to be I would reach out to him probably 3 or 4 times to hang out and him the other one. He always responds and wants to do something. And it's obvious to me that he and his family enjoy having me around and hanging out. He also doesn't have many or any other friends and doesn't seem close to his siblings. So I decided to not reach out for a while and see how long it would take him to reach out to me. And it's been 6 to 7 weeks. I'm just wondering if from the information I gave, does it seem like he wants to be friends with me? Oh, Should I continue to be the only one reaching out? Is he just a person who isn't social or has some mental thing with not wanting to socialize or reach out to people? Does he just assume I am busy? I have been times in the past when he did reach out, just looking for some insight for people who are that person who have known someone like this. Oh, so my initial reaction is like, oh, he wants his friend, he misses his friend, because I just love friend stuff. I really, really do. So anyway, on the one hand, dude, just call your friend. Just call your friend and just be like, hey, what's going on? Let's meet up. And if he is cool with it, then talk about it and just ask, like, what's going on? Lay that out there. I feel like I'm the only person who is reaching out. And I really would like it if you could reciprocate a little bit more, friend. It is totally 100% okay to have these types of conversations with your friends. Like, I am so here for it. Friendships are relationships, okay? Like, literally. And they are vital and important. I really believe that. And I know me personally, I've been so grateful for the times when my friends have given me an opportunity to step up and be a better friend by calling me out on some shit, by, pointing out something, whatever the case may be. And I, in turn, take those same opportunities, and be able to say, hey, we talked about this the other day and I didn't like that. Or, hey, it seems like I had a friend who, I would call and reach out to and I would barely hear back from, but I swear he called me on the worst day of his life every time. Like, when you're in pieces, you call me because I'm here and I'm going to answer. But when I'm calling just to say hey or check in or whatever, I get nothing. Yeah. That's not being a good friend, And I have no problem saying that. So even with this friend, I understand, wanting to have some empathy for thinking, okay, they probably have something going on in their life. And that may very well be true. And it is entirely up to that person if they want to allow you into whatever it is that they have going on that may or may not be in the way. Yeah. But we have no idea unless we actually broach the conversation. So
communicate.
Yeah, step one, talk to your friend, man. And then and also communicate to that friend that they're important and that you want them, around and in your life. Because I think that's important too. Like, we kind of get into this state of like, oh, no one cares if I call. Oh, no, we keep thinking they don't care or you don't care, or we don't know, and everybody cares. No one's saying anything, and it's just annoying. So talk to your friend.
Yay. Look at you. Miss Cole. No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Communicate. One of the things I want to say about this in particular is just, you said like he's married with a couple of kids and that he has reached out to you in the past, and in those times you have been busy. It literally sounds like to me, he's just like, okay, the times I have reached out, you are busy. So when you and your single friend life want to hang out with me and my folks, then you will make yourself available. I know I have definitely made those assumptions myself, but they were assumptions. And then once I talked to the person, come to realize that they thought about it the other way. Like, you have a child. I was like, when she has free time, then I'll make my shit. She'll let me know. But again, we had to have that communication. We had to talk about that. I think it becomes like you just don't think about it. It's not so much that you don't miss your friends. It's not so much that you don't want to hang with them or anything like that. I think sometimes life just gets busy. I have a girlfriend here who also has kids. She has 2 kids and she has a long-term partner. And like a month or 2 ago, she called me and was just like, hey girl. And she was like, so the kids asked if me and you are beefing because you haven't been over here in like a whole 2 months. Oh, and no. I was just like, because we definitely had gotten a groove where like every weekend we were together. Yeah. And I was like, oh, she had me on speaker. And I was like, no, I just been busy and depressed. Like I just work and then my emotional health. And she was like, see y'all. And she was just like, yeah, no, same thing. I've been busy. I've been swamped, blah, 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 blah. And we got to like get back somewhat on track of like, yeah, girl, I am busy. It's not that I don't miss you. I have not had a chance to think about what I miss at all. I've just been wrapped up in stuff. And I appreciate that you called because I need someone to remind me that socializing is important. And yes, I would love to come over this weekend. So just back to what Ashley said. Yeah, just communication. Communication. I don't think a lot of times I don't think it's intentional, especially when if you're saying that when I do ask, he's always excited. The family's always excited. They're always like, yeah, come on by. You just get wrapped up in stuff.
Yeah. It's also making me think about something I was listening to where they were talking about friendship therapy. There are people who go into therapy with their friends.
That is so adorable.
I think it's cute. And the episode I was listening to, which is why this is also interesting, because I'm going to assume that it's a male wanting to reconnect with his male friend. That's what I'm assuming. But what I was listening to, yeah, it had like two guys, they went to friendship therapy together. Like, figured it out and like talked about how much they really wanted to hang out with each other. And I was just like, I was driving somewhere like crying, like,
love that.
I just love best friend stuff. Oh yeah.
I love seeing guys act like girls, act with their friends. No, let me explain that better. Okay. I love when I see men have like open, vulnerable, loving relationships with their male friends. Because in certain communities, we act like it's forbidden. Like you're not their friends, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, you know, when's his birthday? All right, well, I have a homegirl I want to hook him up with. What's his type? Female. Like they know nothing about each other. They've never had a vulnerable conversation. They bond through insults, and you're just like
heavy on the bonding through insults, because I was like, boy, y'all bully each other to be every single kind. Come on now.
So I love when I meet men and they have like real genuine friends, like real genuine bonds. They talk about deep stuff. They're like, yeah, you know, when I was going through something, you know, he came up and sat with me and was like did more than punch him in the chest and gave him some, you know, liquor. It was like, man up. Like, I love, like, no, he came over and I was like, bro, I miss her. And he was like, yeah, man, I thought she was the one to let it out. Like,
this is what we were talking about. Safe spaces for men. This is what y'all need, communicating with each other. Genuine, meaningful, open communication with your friends. And then it gets to ripple over.
Yes, there's so much that benefits a person when they allow vulnerability in their life in more than one way. And that one way is not just sexually. Like when you allow a vulnerability in relationships, but like also friendships and like also with your kids. And like, you know, just it makes you a better human being when like you have safe spaces with the people who you frequently allow in your life and you talk to.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that is like, you know what? That's my new rule for dating. Okay. Do you have safe spaces outside of sex?
Yes.
Because I've noticed y'all, the ones who don't, y'all some walking red flags.
Yes. I have started to wonder and like try to ask those questions, like who is your like governing body? Like who do you discuss things with?
Yeah.
Have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Well, how are they likely to support you, clown you? Like I need to know.
Yeah. I once dated a man who like, I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about a show. It was some TV show and we were talking about the show, and it was like a moment in the show where like it was like two brothers and they were arguing and they made up or whatever, and he was just like, bro, I miss my brother. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, you should call him. When's the last time you called him? Like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And I was just like, yeah, like call him, you know, right now. And I was like, yeah. He went and he called his brother. He came back and he was like, you know, you're the only person I've ever said that to. And I was like, that you miss your brother? He was like, yeah. And I was like, And I just had this whole moment where like, I know it probably, maybe it shouldn't have been a thing, but I had this whole moment where I was just like,
yeah.
You got a group of like 13 of y'all that hang out regularly.
Yeah.
What do y'all be talking about? Like if saying like, I miss your brother was this like huge breakthrough moment. Because I did not do that trying to have a huge breakthrough moment. To me, it was just like I was half listening. I was like, yeah, you should call him. Like that was I was not I didn't have my therapist hat on or nothing. But like I had this whole moment where I was just like, I am the only person you have conversations with. I'm now realizing it, and now it's making other things make sense. It's
a whole other topic. Of those moments you were like, don't nobody talk to you, don't nobody hug you, don't nobody love you, sir. Like, but
sir,
whole other thing.
We don't need to get into that. So yes, baby, talk to your friend, communicate. That is
Ooh.
our response. Communicate. Y'all have to talk about those things. And yeah, it sounds like
Mhm.
he's probably just busy, but you should talk to him for sure. All right, I'm gonna go to the next question.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So this is a philosophical type question, guys. This isn't like my life is on fire. How do I save it? All right. So the question goes, do you believe there's a such thing as fate? For example, do you believe that certain people or events are fated to come into your life or happen to you well in advance of those people actually coming into your life or those events actually happening to you? If so, for what purpose? For if such things are fated, then they must have predetermined purposes or reasons for them happening. Yes? Question mark. I have come to believe that the universe pushes us along a sort of path, much like a rolling river would push along a body of some sort along its way. And the more you resist the pushing along, the more you suffer. Hence, we might have a basis for the notion of going with the flow. What do you think? Can you share some experience from your life that seemed fated or predestined? Or is everything just random? Why would you believe in a fated reality versus a random one? So I picked this question because I have been dealing with this a lot as of late. There has been a lot of weird just things going on in my life. And I'm like, why? Because they're also very related to one another. And I'm having like a lot of things happening that relate back to little things that happened in my life years ago that I did not understand that I'm like, for this moment, like that had to happen for this moment. Did it have to happen in that way? Could I have not learned this vicariously? Why did I have to come to this point? Like, I'm just having a lot of like faded type shit happen where I'm just like, yeah, I didn't have nothing to do with that. And the universe is really pushing its agenda on me right now that I did not ask for. Agenda that I did not ask for, an agenda that I do not agree with. You are laughing very hard.
I can't help it because it's so funny having just known you through your journey. Because I feel like I've always been the kind of person like, yeah, it's a lesson to learn. You've been like, I don't see why I had to be this way, and I don't get it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And okay, and now
And I'm
like,
still there.
I
Like,
mean, I know,
just...
I know. That's why it's just funny because it's like, yeah, girl, yeah.
It's like so much. There's so much things that are happening right now that feel very much like there is an invisible hand moving pieces into place without my consent. Yeah, it is non-consensual, predestined things being ordained right now. And I'm not happy about it. Me and the feminist movement are going to have a word with the universe. We do not like what is going on. But I definitely believe that some things are predestined. I do think we have a choice in things, but I think kind of how they explained it, where when there's certain things you're predestined for and you try to resist it, it just fucks shit up. And it's like, it's going to happen. Now, you can make it happen a nice way, or we can make this happen the hard way, but it's going to happen. This has already been written. It's going to be done. And the reason I believe that is because I definitely have had things in my life like that happen. I don't feel comfortable sharing right now on the podcast, but I definitely have had things happen where I'm just like, it makes no sense that this is where we landed. Mm-hmm. There's too many things that tie in with one another that I'm just like, I have tried my hardest to run from this. And yet here we are, yet again, here we are, just yeah. So anyways, my answer to that is yes, I do think things are predestined. Matter of fact, how about I say it this way? That I think it's a mix. I think there are certain destinies that are, I guess, written. This is making me feel like I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, saying written, predestined. Like I just feel very goofy saying that. But
Okay.
I feel like there's like a mix where there are some things that are like written and the universe will push you as hard as possible. But at the end of the day, you still have your own choice. And it's almost like the universe has like a backup plan for you. Like, we wanted you to be Beyonce, but okay, if you just not gonna go to dance practice, you can work at Subway. Fine, it's fine. There's another little girl named Beyonce in Houston. We're gonna move her. She boom, blah, blah, blah. I think it's kind of works like that sometimes. And the reason I say that is because I had a mentor who told me a story about something that had happened in their life where they had pretty much since they were little had been told something was like destined for them. They were like, for example, let's say, because I don't want to give their information away, but let's say they were told since they were like 3 that they were going to own a candy store. And they're like, but I don't like candy. I'm vegan. I don't like sugar. I have weak teeth. I don't want to own a candy store. And all their life they were told like, you're going to own a candy store. And they're just like, no. And so they went to school for biology and never ate candy a day in their life. And they just kept working with the sea animals because microbiology. Is that, yeah. And then one day they met a man and they fell in love and he owned a fucking candy store. And now she owns a fucking candy store. And she was like, I literally was stone cold against this candy store thing, ran away from it, and it still came full circle where I was like, fuck, that's what they were talking about. The goddamn candy store. And I've seen things like that happen in lives of people who I know. So yes, I do believe that, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely, yeah, using words like faded just feels so, I don't know, I just don't love it because it does feel like shoobaloo or whatever. But also, because I think about like, I think we're more like, there's certain lessons we're supposed to learn and certain things we're supposed to do. But I don't know that it's necessarily like, I think when we think of fate, we think so much about the end result, like we're supposed to achieve this particular goal versus like all of the growth that's supposed to happen along the way. But there's also still something to whatever the outcome is. Like and I know I've had so many examples of that, even in my own personal life, like through my entire life. From observing others, from my own experiences, where I think it's interesting how they phrase that, like that's what it means to like go with the flow, because I've literally had times where I say, like, if I start feeling like I'm banging my head against the wall, that is not the right way. Like, you know, there's certain obstacles and challenges that you're going to go through. But like, when I like try for the life of me, like I can't help but believe in some sort of something is bigger than me because of having those experiences where it was literally like, felt like I was trying to go a certain way and I was just met with so much doggone resistance that it was like, okay, you know, or, you know, I was trying to do it my way, but then this still worked out in some other kind of way. And it's just like, I'm just a firm believer of that. Like, if you just feel like you bang your head against the wall, something's got to change.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like, you can choose not to. It might not be very pleasant, or, you know, maybe you'll activate that backup plan. But if there's certain changes that you're for real meant to make, like, I really think they will present themselves. Like, even in like, I've had, you know, relationships where it was like, I felt like I was being ridiculous because I kept asking the universe or whomever I was talking to, you know, for answers. And I kept getting them. Hey, I kept getting signs, right? that were telling me, go ahead, you know, but that's not really what I wanted, right? I wanted you to fix this.
Yeah.
I wanted this to work.
Do you remember, like, literally just a couple of weeks ago, I was like having trouble sleeping. You're like, oh, what's going on? I was like, I keep having this dream and I'm trying to figure out what it means. It keeps coming back. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, you know, what are you doing to ask? And I was like, oh no, I got an answer. I just don't like the answer. So I'm going to meditate again and try to go to sleep. And you were just like, I don't think that's how I keep getting the same answer. So yeah.
Me and my whatever, like, don't play that. Like, it gets, and the consequences get bigger and bigger to where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna get, like, this is a very particular example. Again, I was getting the sign saying, break up with this man. This is not it. Stop doing this. And I was like, let me still dilly-dally around. And things were happening. And then I remember, like, it was the stupidest thing. We had gotten into a petty argument that just didn't have to happen. He was good at starting these out of thin air, and he had started one. And I was trying to just peacefully leave the place. And he was having such a fit that he took the door and he like slammed it, and the door hit me. Like, I wasn't all the way out the door. I got hit by this doggone door. And I was like, what the fuck? You know? And of course, like, I'm shocked. So I like fall out crying, like, what? But I remember sitting there on them steps crying and being like, girl, leave this man for you get struck by lightning. Like, how many more
The
ways?
universe literally had him kick your ass out the door.
I had him at the door.
Oh my gosh, what is that saying? Let the door hit you what the dog should have bit you. My aunt used to say that.
A good Lord split you. Don't let the dog hit you when a good Lord split you. That's what I used to hear. But yeah, so yeah, and even in my, which we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but even in my career, there's been things that, like for when I was going to go to college, the year I wanted to go was just not the year. Yeah. It was not the year it was supposed to happen. And I know that so much because that second year for going to grad school when I applied, nothing was different. Literally nothing was different. Yeah, I spent like a year working, but I hadn't done any new kind of work that I had never done. Yeah. I didn't get new essays. I didn't retake the GR. I didn't do a doggone thing different. Mm-hmm. They said pay the application fee, and that's what I did, and I got in. And I used to feel very like annoyed by that because I'm like, what was wrong with my first year? Why'd you have to make me feel like crap if you're just gonna let me in the second year? But like, it's really fine. Like it all turned out exactly like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
It's so funny you say that. Same thing. When I first graduated from undergrad, I wanted to go to school, a grad school right away. And I had sent out some applications to 3 schools. And one school was really just, I think like my counselor let me get it for free. Like it was like a free app. And I was like, I mean, if y'all paying for it, sure. But 2 schools that I knew for a fact, like I could get in. And one of them turned me down and it broke my little heart. It broke my little heart because I was like, first of all, that was my backup school.
Like, dare you tell me no?
How dare you tell me no? And then not only that, I had a friend who got in and I was like, we have the same GPA. I was just very confused. And then the other school, they lost my application. They were like the only school still taking paper, like they didn't have an online one. And so they wrote me, was like, hey, yeah, we lost some of your stuff and we need you to get back your letters of recommendation. And it was summertime. Like I was no longer in class with these professors. I was like, you want me to get 3 professors to rewrite letters of recommendation. And at the time I was young. I didn't know like make a copy for yourself, keep them as backup type of thing. But the school that I did, that was my backup school, it was where my parents were living. And at the time my parents had a house that had a mother-in-law suite. And so my plan was like, well, if I go to the backup room, I can move back home, but also have my privacy because the way that the mother-in-law suite was set up is like, it had its own garage, had its own, kitchen, washer, dryer, like it was like I was sharing the land with them, but I wasn't really in the home. And so same thing, like I was really disappointed and I'm like, but I could have saved and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Some stuff ended up happening and my parents ended up leaving that area. And they told us like last minute, by the way, they were just like, oh, by the way, we're moving out of state. Y'all grown. It don't matter. So that plan would have never worked anyway. Yeah. But at that time, like I was heartbroken. Like, why did y'all break my little feelings? First of all, y'all really hurt my egos. And it was like, no, because the universe just did not want me to go to school at that time. And I later realized, like, I ended up having some very major life events happen when I didn't go to school. I ended up making some moves. I moved out of state. I had certain things happen that really changed my whole personality, changed who I was as a human being, which I knew would not have happened if one, I moved back with my parents. That wouldn't have happened. Or even if I had went out of state to the same school, like I needed those experiences. Because you didn't know me when I was conservative, but I was very conservative.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
I know, but yeah, like I was, but like because of that time period I had where I wasn't in school, where I was just having life experiences as a young, like 21-year-old, it really changed and morphed my path. It really changed and morphed who I was. It changed how I interacted with people, how I interacted with myself, who myself is, all of that. And it was like, yeah, that's why you couldn't go at that time. You needed to have those life experiences. You needed that to happen. You would be a completely different human being if you had went off to school and those things did not happen to you. So I think there's something to that. There's definitely something to that. Alrighty. The next question. All right, guys. So this is the last question, and it's a very short one. So, what are red flags you avoid in new relationships? What are the things that make you say, nope, not the one? And that is the whole question. So I have a long list of things to make me say. No, not the one. Men who, when you ask, okay, so what are you looking for? And they say they're going with the flow. At this point in my life, I don't want that. Men that say, well, I just really want a friendship first, I also cross them out the list. Not because friendships aren't nice, it's just because they've caught on to the fact that we don't like hearing go with the flow and they start with the friendship bullshit. A man that wants to settle down and be in a committed relationship is going to make that clear. Men who think it's okay to put down other women in front of you, especially if it seems like they're doing it to try to big up you. Like, see, that's why I don't like them girls that dress like that. See, that's why I like you, because you be knowing how to dress, you be knowing how to come out here. You ain't like them. I'm trying to tell you, girls, that that's a one red flag. That is a huge red flag. Do not feel he's not telling you you're special. He's telling you that he's special in a whole different type of way. Another one that I find a really big red flag is men who turn their phone down whenever you're out. Like, they don't let their phone face up. They always let their phone face down. To me, that's a red flag. I don't care what nobody says. That is a red flag. To me, I also feel like the people that they look up to, if a man is just like, yeah, because that's the big bro right there, that's the big props, whatever, and it's like murderers and killers and men who are constantly bashing women, like, you need to be concerned. You need to be concerned. There's that's the big bro to them. It's because they agree with some of the things that they're saying, and if they don't know that person personally, they're just agreeing with the things that they're saying in their lyrics or their show, their TV, whatever. Men who say that they are pro-Black, but then only list things that benefit Black men. That is a huge red flag for me. If you say I'm pro-Black and then you don't touch on anything that has anything to do with Black women, there's a certain part of the Hotep community that I like to stay away from, and they are part of that. Another big red flag to me is men who are hyper focused on impressing other people. Because a man like that, you cannot lead anything if you yourself are too busy trying to impress other people. Another one I would say is men who cut you off while you're speaking. Men who never let you finish a thought. That is a huge red flag. I don't care how excited you are to tell me about your day or whatever, or maybe I said something that interests you and you're like, oh my gosh, I have something to say to what you say. If I can never finish a thought with you, especially if you don't, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. But when a man does that consistently, that is a red flag. He is more interested in himself than he is you. You are literally a mirror to bounce off his own ideas. And the last one I am going to say is a man that takes up all of your emotional energy without refilling back into you. These emotional vampire men. These are the men that come into your life and they want you to be their girl, their friend, their gym partner, their therapist, their caseworker, their teacher, their mother. They want you to be their photographer for Instagram. They want you to be their editor. They want you to be everything in the world. And they just take so much emotional energy for you. You feel like all the time you just sitting there handling all his problems, and then he feels good and he rolls over and go to bed, and you sitting here now with your problems and his problems, because he is not looking to relieve you of any of your emotional stuff at all. You are his emotional bellhop. That's what the fuck you are. This is not a relationship. So I'm done. Those are my red flags.
Oh, that is quite the term, emotional bellhop. Okay. Of course there are so many, but to piggyback off of some of the ones that you were saying about like content and just things like that, I would say men who don't consume any content by women. Like if you don't have no female artists that you listen to, no, you read, but you don't read by women, like anything, you are not consuming content by members of the opposite sex. And I'll say this on both ends. So by members of the opposite sex, I think that's a dusty red flag. Like, yeah, that's stale. Somebody who does not have their own opinions about things. And I guess maybe that's just me, so I'm super opinionated. So it's like, if all it takes me is 1 or 2 questions and you're on my side, your stance held up to nothing. Like, I'm okay with you not even having the same opinion with me, but if yours don't hold up, they based on something that seems regurgitated or from somewhere else or whomever, I don't know, but have some opinions and thoughts for yourself. Otherwise, that's a huge red flag for me. How someone disagrees, and I want to go so far as to say also how they express anger. It's like, can you just disagree, or does it have to be a disagreement that turns into an argument that turns into you trying to attack my self-esteem? Like, those are major red flags for me. How somebody just handles anger. Like, can we have a disagreement and it just be that?
Yeah.
That's a big one. I want to say there's so many, that's what I was going to go through too. Like, that's what I was going to say, like timeliness and like compromise. Yeah. Somebody who doesn't make time for you is a red flag. If you feel like you're, or I would say mostly of like, if you feel like you're always giving or leaning in, or like always the one who's accommodating and setting aside time and blah, blah, blah. And those things are not being reciprocated. I guess kind of what you're putting in and you're not getting it. Like, it's a huge red flag. Pay attention how you feel when you're around them. You shouldn't be feeling like you're having to put on a show or like you're boxed in or anything that feels like uncomfortable or disingenuous. It's just not how you should be feeling around someone. And I feel like if you're feeling that way, or if you feel like you're having to tap dance around somebody's feelings and like those are huge red flags.
But are some of those our own red flags? Like, at what point is that also you? Like, why do you feel the need to? Yeah.
100%. And that's a whole other thing, a whole other conversation. Even being genuine and secure, and even, when we talk about taking breaks from dating and things like that, like being genuine and secure enough in yourself that you can re-enter dating without feeling like you're losing yourself. Because I know for me, that was like a really big thing of like, can I do this and not lose me and all this progress and all this other stuff that I've done?
Yeah, same.
But noticing how I feel when I feel genuine and authentic, when I have freedom, like noticing that, and that's my baseline. Having that as my baseline lets me know that, like, if I go into interacting or being in a relationship or something, and there's something that causes me to feel off of that, I'm feeling confused, then that's not it. Like, that doesn't work. So someone who takes you out of character, that's another huge
yes.
You know that you're, calm, cool, and collected. And yet when you're around this, because people love that, oh my gosh, you just make me crazy. It's you, it's because of all our, absolutely not. No, but yeah, even to anything that takes you out of character, like, but also you'd have to know you, right? So like you were saying, there is a certain level of self-exploration that has to come, before you interact in these situations. That's how you know. But anything take me out of character, got me out here causing scenes and whatnot, that is not how I like to behave.
No, word. The person I dated, I think a big moment for me, knowing that it was time for me to walk away from it, was like, I feel so anxious around you. And not only that, when I get mad when it comes to you, it's not my normal level of mad. You provoke something in me that literally makes me want to hurt you back. Not physically, but like emotionally. Like, you provoke something in me that make me want to be like, okay, bet. Like that. And I don't like being that. I don't like being that in relationships. And for me, it wasn't a matter of necessarily that I looked at it like, oh, red flag. It was just more of us together is a red flag, because I do not want to be with someone who causes me these emotions. These are not my normal emotions when I'm with somebody.
Yeah. And that is so important, because we get so much messaging that tells us we're supposed to be in these like very extreme circumstances all the time, you just head over heels and love it. And I myself have said and used to truly believe, because it's that thought of like, well, when you're in love, like the good times are so much good and the bad times are so bad. And like, that's why. And I just disagree with this level of fluctuation, nah, like the good can be excellent, right? Because yeah, I love you and you're my person. And the bad can be bad, but my God, it should not be soul crushing. And, some of the pain that I have felt from interacting with people is like, what is that? Why on earth? Why would I think that's love? Why would I think that that's the kind of love that I need to keep having? Why am I beholden? Like my biggest thing is like, I am not beholden to those feelings, which just is answering that question, but being beholden to that, like, because of love, it's being beholden to love. Okay.
Beholden to love.
I love love. I think love is great and wonderful and cute and special. And
this is the shit I'm talking about when I say I'm so different from all my girlfriends. Like all of y'all feel that way. Like all of y'all be like, love, and I'm more so like, I wish you to find someone you truly love. And I'm like, why the fuck would you wish that on me? Like why would you fuck up I am vibing? Why would y'all do that? Like love is very terrifying to me. But no, I hear you. I do hear you, because I feel the same. I definitely feel like for a long time, the people that I actually bonded with were people who brought out a very, very fiery side of me. And I thought that was okay. And that was what love supposed to look like. And as I got older, when I really like intentionally stepped away from dating, it was a matter of me looking back at things that I was like, I need to figure out what I don't like, because why don't I like love? Why don't I like that level of intensity and emotions, and even the happy ones? And I had to realize it's like, you know what, because something about my past relationship also just brought out the fiery. So I never felt comfortable being the peaceful me. Mm-hmm. And so I never knew love to be peaceful. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I would be terrified of love if I did not know love as peace. If love always felt fiery. Fiery can be fun sometimes. Passion is ooh, But like to be in that mode for 8 months, to be in that mode with a person for 2 years, like that's not fun.
Yeah.
It's fun in 5-minute increments. Like it's not fun where that's the mode you have to be on all the time. And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because yeah, for me now, a red flag is when I feel like I'm always in my fire mode with you. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be in fire mode with you all the time. Yes, I enjoy having my moments of fireness and fieriness and blah, blah, blah. But like, I think me and you have talked about this before. We talked about this in the social work episode of men who fall in love with that rah side of you, that passionate side of you, that like, I'm gonna speak my mind, blah, blah, blah. But like, hey, I want someone to fall in love with my softness, because I had to be that fiery. It's not that I'm naturally that fiery. It's not even that I even like being that fiery. It's that I never had the space to be the soft version of me. And I like her. I like her so much. I get to be her so much when I'm by myself.
Yes.
Like me and her just be vibing. We be chilling. Yeah. And I want someone that if you're going to come in, you need to know how to, you also need to bring an energy that keeps her.
And respects her. Yeah.
It shouldn't be when I'm like in calm mode that you're just like, yeah, you used to be so, because I was in fight or flight. I was in flight mode.
Yeah.
This is who I am when I'm not in flight mode. I need someone that compliments her.
Because she is at peace. She is chilling. Yes. I'm
loving life.
Yeah. I think because you were saying like how different we are on that. And I think for me, I'm okay with it because I'm actually really okay with letting it go. Like I don't I don't feel like owed anything for love. I don't feel it. So it's like I'm cool with being like, oh no, well, that's not to say like, oh, it's easy for me to just let people go, but it's really okay because I'm gonna love somebody else, and somebody else is gonna love me because I'm lovable.
We have definitely had this conversation before. Yeah, where you are, it's so, oh my gosh, all my friends are so, we're all so very different from one another. Because you very much are like, it's okay, I can love again, I'll love again, and I'll just love, because I love to love.
Doing it.
I feel like Neek is on the opposite, where Neek loves to love, but she has like a fearfulness to it. Like she loves to love, she's open to love, but also like, why you make me love you if you weren't ready to be loved? And somewhere in the middle is me, who's like, I don't want to love. It's terrifying. Also, why the fuck you make me love? I don't like that. And you weren't ready for love. So, but I will also leave, but angrily. Like,
For real. But also it don't mean nothing because then I get in trouble on the other end of things, when people are like, but I thought you loved me. And I'm like, I did, boo. But hey, sometimes it don't work. It's okay. Moving on.
No, I feel like my love is so sacred that it was like, how dare you make me walk through the valley of the shadow of death to open up this fucking love tomb?
Girl.
I had to get pliers. We had to bring explosives. So much stuff had to open for this freaking tomb to open. You guys didn't appreciate it. So now I got to build this brick back up, walk back through the valley, the shadow of freaking death.
You don't have to though. You can leave it open.
No, thank you. I am even open for other experiences.
Anywho.
Okay. Would you be willing to say a red flag that you had before you did some healing and so forth?
Okay.
No. Look, I can name them if you need some help. I have been there with you with your relationship. If you need help pointing out your red flags, I can certainly help.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, let me think because I think, gosh, I'm really thinking because I'm like, there's stuff that like. I know that I've changed the hill, but I don't think anyone was complaining about it.
Does anyone ever really complain? I have a whole bunch of stuff that, especially like in 2017, I had a male therapist. And I remember I would come and like once we build rapport and I'd be open, he'd like,
I know, right? Okay, yeah, okay, one.
Okay, I'm gonna say one of mine.
Okay, yeah.
That I think I actually am really, really good at, but this is something I was horrible at up until like 2 years ago. Communication, which is why I'm so big on saying communicating now. I used to be really, really big on shutting down emotionally. So like when it comes to like anger and stuff, like I wasn't a person that blew up or whatever. I would just shut down. I would leave you in the middle of a conversation. I would leave you in the middle of a sentence. One time, me and this guy got into it while he was driving and I just emotionally shut down, let him keep doing the talking. We pulled up at a red light. I got out the car because I had already ordered an Uber. I knew he was going to be coming up to the Walgreens of the screen. I had ordered an Uber because I had decided in my mind I was done with this conversation. Got the car, went Uber, didn't even tell him, just left. And that was something I was really big on for a long time. And it was because I never learned how to deal with conflict. No one ever talked to me about conflict. When I was a kid, I was never really sat down and explained. It was always just yelling. Why did you do that? Go to your room. That's it. Nobody followed back up with me to have a conversation with me, to ask me my feelings on things and why I did that. And, now my turn to talk, their turn to talk. And this is how we resolve things. It was, I got in trouble, got sent to my room. Nobody talked to me. And then one day we all just start talking again. Or a couple hours later, dinner's ready. And so I never learned conflict resolution skills. Yeah. Like I knew how to do it with other people.
Yeah.
At work, and I needed to do it because I was hosting a group or whatever. I didn't know how to do it with myself. So I learned very, very early on to emotionally shut down because I learned very early on that certain emotions weren't safe for me to have. Mm-hmm. So those emotions aren't safe for you to have. Out of survival, I had to go in shutdown mode or else I would get in more trouble. And then I just continued that into relationships. So when I got mad, when I was angry, when I was hurt, when I was whatever, I would literally get up and walk away from you. Wouldn't say anything and would not talk to you until I was ready to act like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that meant a couple of days. Sometimes that meant never. There's whole men out here who have never gotten why did we break up talk? Most of them did not. I didn't believe in doing that. And I bring that up because Nick is huge on that. Nick is big on like, let's talk about what happened. I'm like, girl, I left. But for me, for a very long time, that was my red flag. I feel like you can line up every dude I dated since like 19 and they all be like, yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have so many, but it's been a while since I've done this, but I definitely, because it presented other ways, but it's that gut check, that like feeling like I just gotta like, I can't just, arguing hasn't been a thing for me for a long time.
You gotta hit them with the TKO.
But when it was like, it had to just be that like drop a bomb. And I remember having literally a professor in like my human sexuality class say that like, it's not okay to just like drop a bomb and then leave. Like the argument of like, I got the last word, aha.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was bad. Like, I used to do that. And that's not cool. But even then, even as I curtailed that, I still had a habit of just feeling like I just had to get just a pinch, just a nag, just a like that
Get your lick back.
comment. Yeah, like
Yeah.
somewhere in there. And I have definitely been working to curtail that like significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it don't have to be an argument, it don't have to be something. It could just be because I don't know. I remember what you did. You might not remember. It is what it is. And then you call me to talk about, soda. And I'm like, yeah, that's like that time when blah, 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 blah. And I just got to toss it out there. Just why? Why? I don't know. So that is definitely just that one last check. What I learned as I was healing from it, it's something I really want to say. It may be something that's actually bothering me. There is something underneath that little slick comment that I actually mean. And now I just try to say that thing.
Yeah.
And if it's someone, and my excuse used to be, like, oh, if I'm talking to someone who I don't think they care about how I feel, just don't daggone say it. I don't have to take that extra twist of the knife just so that they just like, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to get the last word. You don't always have to get that.
But like, look how helpful that was for you to say it out loud. And then like, I'm watching you as you like dissect it. You're like, because I have felt there's something else there. There's something. This is what happens when we actually sit and try to learn ourselves.
Yeah.
You start realizing like, this is why I did that.
I'm like, I got 100 whole lot. That goes along with pulling every thread. Like everything just don't have to be something. I think that's more is to learn. Like I used to say it to myself when I was first like really going through my healings. Like you don't have to pull every thread. Everything doesn't have to lead to something. Like you can just leave some stuff where it is.
Yeah. I think that goes out with though, like, because when you said that, I immediately thought for me, it's like self-sabotaging. I definitely feel like if there's a certain point where I'm feeling like too good, I want to be vulnerable. I'm like, wait, real quick. You know a couple tricks. Find out what's in the phone. Twitter. No, his other Twitter. His other Tumblr. Remember that the one time we check hidden folders. Like, there's a part of me that wants to give me a reason not to trust the situation. And unfortunately, with most people, human beings in general, if you search hard enough, you're going to find something, because people aren't perfect. And sometimes it's not even that they're really doing anything. It's that if you don't want it to work, you can find a reason for it not to work. You can find a reason to tell yourself to hold back.
100%.
And I do think that is a red flag. Self-sabotaging is a red flag. I think a lot of times to really look at some of the things you're doing and think about like, hey, is this self-sabotage? Is this me doing something out of protecting myself? Maybe, but what am I really protecting myself from? Am I protecting myself from them, or am I protecting myself from having to deal with my own shit? Because me dealing with you means I have to be vulnerable. Me being vulnerable means I have to be honest about some things about myself.
Yeah, that's another red flag too. People who can't have peace, who never know. Why is everybody arguing with you? Why do you always get? Yeah.
It's been a good episode. Thank you for coming on and filling in. Ashley, I always enjoy our conversations. So before we go, guys, even though that was our last question, I'm going to hand it over to Ashley so she can tell you where you can find her and the things that she is up to all over social media.
Yeah, I am all over social media. So one of my big projects that I do want to share and, get some support on is Parents Are People. So I have a blog called parentsarepeople.net. It's a parent blog, but it's for people and people who have been children of parents. And also parents who are
I love it so much.
For parents who are people, because that's a wide range of topics that I hope to cover on there. And I really hope to expand and do some great stuff on that. So please check that out. And I also have, it's connected to an IG page, which is Parents Are, which is the letter R, not A-R-E. Parents, the letter R, People, where I try to make up memes to make y'all look at my blog. The whole goal is the blog. Please go.
Kind of like our page.
Parents
the memes
are
bring
people.
you, but you're supposed to listen.
Right. Parents are people.net. Parents are ARE people.net. That's that.
Yes. And Ashley is being entirely too modest. She is a amazing therapist. She does awesome work with children. She does awesome work with parents. So you're not really just getting her opinion on things. You're actually getting stuff that is like a research, but not only research, but stuff that she has actually done the work on in real life and has helped other parents, other children, families in general. So please definitely give her page a look, give her a follow, and head over to the blog. I will tag her on the Instagram post. So every time that I post this week, you will see her name and tag. Head over there, follow her, like her stuff, but also go to the website, read the blog. Now, as always, guys, this has been so fun, but that's all we have for today. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a comment with some words. Share, probably not with like mom or dad, but like sisters, cousins, friends. That's my demographic. Share with them. Other than that, guys, we'll have a new episode for you next Thursday. Bye.